of America countdown to green as we get set to go racing.
Big things happen in small places. It doesn't get any smaller than the Martinsville Speedway, and it doesn't get any bigger than the second half of the chase for the NEXTEL Cup. A 1/2 mile track, 43 drivers, a twisting pit road, and a tie at the top of the championship standings. Today, NASCAR's smallest track could produce one of its biggest winners. Martinsville Speedway. Through the years, many have celebrated the checkered flag, but nothing is as simple as black and white. The winners have called this race rewarding. The losers have called it other things. So maybe they should change the name. Last year, it was Johnsonville, as this championship contender won his second straight race. Last week, he was home in his house, in Victory Lane, and in a tie at the top of the standings. Tied with Tony, who hopes to rename it Stewartville. One win here, but for him, this short track has been long on trouble. This guy likes the name. 2 wins at Martinsville. Number 3 could send him on the way to his first championship. Maybe they could call it Gordonville. After winning here in April, he goes for the sweep and his 7th victory on this Virginia track, hoping to add some color to a dreary second half. But the most likely new name would have to be Wallaceville. 7 wins here, and today his last chance to get number 8 and move up in the chase before it's too late.
Guys, we got a crash here.
Talladega was the longest track in the chase. Charlotte was the longest night. And now the shortest race on the shortest track in the chase for the championship. The last thing you would call this place is Pleasantville. Good job. NBC Sports presents the chase for the NASCAR NEXTEL Cup Championship. Today, it's the Subway 500 from the Martinsville Speedway in Virginia. Hello, everybody. The NBC Race family. Happy to welcome you to the Ville. This is the Bank of America Countdown to Green. I'm Bill Weber. Everyone knew Talladega would shuffle the championship standings, but even with all the concerns about the track at Charlotte, we didn't think the top 10 would come out this tight. The most points a driver can make up in one race is 156. The top 10 are now separated by just 142 points. Tires were a huge problem throughout the race last Saturday night. Ryan Newman, Matt Kenseth, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and race leader Tony Stewart, just some of the victims in a race with 15 caution periods. Jimmy Johnson started 41st, worked his way toward the front, overcame electrical issues and his own tire problems to survive and win in overtime. His 4th straight win at Charlotte. Today, anything could happen at a throwback fender-bending short track where the unusual is pretty usual. Johnson's win bolted him into the tie with Tony. It was the Charlotte race 1 year ago that launched Jimmy to 4 wins in the final 6 races, including this one. In 5 starts here, Biffle has never finished better than 17th. Newman has 4 straight top 5s at this track. Martin has 2 wins here, but starts a backup car at the back of the field. Edwards has 2 starts, finishing 38th and 24th. 92 points back to Rusty. Any one of the drivers in the chase could leave here as the championship leader. Let's start at the top, and here is Alan Bestwick.
Behind the driver introduction stage with Jimmy Johnson, the co-championship leader. Jimmy, heavy traffic all day, a pretty tough place. Your thoughts on this race?
I'm looking forward to it. I'm happy the sun's out. It's going to, lay down more rubber, make the track slick and tough to drive and stuff that I love here at Martinsville. So I've got a great race car. Looking forward to today with the Los Monte Carlo. And, it's going to be a shootout. I think the championship contenders are going to rise to the front. It's just going to be a good shootout today.
All right, thanks, Jimmy. Good luck today. Let's go to Dave Burns.
And Alan, a lot of drivers gained positions on Tony Stewart last week. But Tony, how important was it for you to out-qualify every one of them on Friday?
Well, it definitely helps with pit selection here. Obviously, having that first pit's an advantage. So, hopefully we can use that to our advantage all day. But it's, it just shows how strong this team is. I mean, we had a bad weekend last weekend. We should have left Charlotte with a 110-point lead. Instead, we left there tied. So that's it. We're done giving points away this year. We're going after what we feel like is ours. And it's like I told Jimmy Makehart and Zippy when I put my uniform on today. I said, I don't feel like I'm suiting up for a race. I feel like I'm suiting up for war. So they want war. They got it now. We've been listening to Chad Knaus trash talk all day yesterday. So I thought it was pretty funny. It sounded like a junior high kid out there. So, he wants war. He's got it today.
Tony Stewart ready to go to battle. We go to Marty Snyder.
Well, when the chase started, Greg Biffle made it very clear this was the race that he was most worried about. So have 2 days of practice done anything to calm your nerves about this race, Greg?
No, I think it's made it twice as bad as it ever was. I'm being optimistic as I can, but I tell you what, company-wide, all the Roush cars are slow. You know, we weren't nobody was better than 20th quick. We were all, you know, down in the 30s, but we threw a wholesale changes at this thing. You know, I changed the front bars, shocks, 2 springs, lowered the track bar, did a bunch of things, kind of copied what some of these other guys are doing that look like they're running faster. So I got nothing to lose right now.
Well, they tried to make it better in the test. He turned over 400 laps here 2 weeks ago. Matt Yoakum.
The deck reshuffle at Charlotte really helped out Ryan Newman, gained 55 points on the championship point leaders, now Johnson and Stewart. Now, are you more concerned with the bottleneck, Ryan, on the racetrack here, or the treacherous pit road?
Well, the pit road's treacherous, but the racetrack is more. You know, just as far as things getting bottled up, and you never know what's going to happen. Guys getting spun around in front of you and things like that. So racetrack, we'll be on the racetrack a lot more than we'll be in pit road, hopefully.
He's never won here. Would love to do that today. He starts on the outside of row 2. Bill?
Thank you, Matt. Now the hard part. You couldn't even look at the 2005 race schedule without thinking about coming back to Martinsville. 1 year ago tomorrow, a Hendrick Motorsports plane with 2 pilots and 8 passengers aboard heading for this race crashed while attempting to land at the Martinsville airport. There were no survivors. Hendrick driver Jimmy Johnson, unaware of the tragedy, won the race, his 2nd straight win, but there was no team celebration, no victory lane. After the checkered flag, the Hendrick teams gathered here at the track in a private room and were told of the tragic loss. Somehow, the Hendrick organization continued on. Johnson won an emotional race in Atlanta the following week. Jimmy and Hendrick teammate Jeff Gordon finished 2nd and 3rd in the championship standings. Team owner Rick Hendrick requested that the media not discuss the tragedy with the people in his organization. We have honored that request, and we also honor those that were lost, family and friends that made their home at the track and made the track feel like home. Hendrick Motorsports has always been more than just a competitor in the crowded field of cars and a garage full of faces. It has long been a leader in the sport. Rick Hendrick is more than the team owner. He's the popular head of a racing organization, a family that works together and wins together. Winning didn't make the people a team. Here, the people made the team a winner. The Hendrick family reaches deep into the sport. Talented people that moved to other teams learned how to race and win at Hendrick and took that knowledge and skill to new places. Last October on a foggy race morning in Martinsville, a moment that stunned an organization, the sport, and its fans. Lost that October day, Rick's brother John, the president of Hendrick Motorsports. In 1998, he led the organization as Jeff Gordon won his 3rd series title. It was common for John to have his 22-year-old twin daughters traveling with him. Kimberly and Jennifer were with their father on the trip to Martinsville. Rick's 24-year-old son Ricky was the future of Hendrick Motorsports. He had retired from racing but made the decision to put 19-year-old Brian Vickers in the car he used to drive. And together, they won the Busch Series championship for the Hendrick family. General Manager Jeff Turner oversaw the day-to-day operations of the racing organization. Randy Dorton was the power behind the performance at Hendrick. Dorton's engines were so good, Rick Hendrick bought his engine building business 20 years ago and brought Randy to the team. It was hard to believe a guy that could beat anybody was so well liked by everybody. Joe Jackson was the director of DuPont Motorsports, the sponsor of 4-time series champion Jeff Gordon. He was with DuPont for 36 years and rarely missed a race. 38-year-old Scott Latham had been the helicopter pilot for Tony Stewart. He was not supposed to be on the plane, but when his helicopter was grounded by weather, he accepted a ride with the Hendrick team. These are the friends and family lost 1 year ago. Gone, but never forgotten. In their memory, various charities have benefited from more than $2 million in contributions. They were part of a winning team and will always be remembered as a part of the Hendrick family. Trouble on the downstretch.
It just went bam and hit the wall.
The championship leader has brought out the caution at Charlotte. More trouble for another contender in the chase for the NEXTEL Cup. Sports presents the NASCAR NEXTEL Cup Chase for the Championship. Today, it's the Subway 500, live from Martinsville, Virginia. Hi, everybody. Bill Weber along with Wally Dallenbach and Benny Parsons. Thanks for having us in for the race, the final short track race of the year. 43 cars on a flat half-mile track. Starting up front is tough enough, but Wally, if you get back in the field, getting to the front is even tougher.
A lot of this, Bill. A lot of shoving today because it's so hard to pass on this place. It's just single file most of the time, so the guys got to be patient. But the patience will run out, and they'll start getting aggressive. They'll start pushing each other. Here's teammates last year. You have to make a move, and sometimes when you make a move, there's going to be contact. This is going to happen all day long, and we're also going to see frustrations. We're going to see guys getting mad at each other and a little bit of payback. But, you know, when I was a driver, this is one of the hardest places, Benny, to just find your pits.
Oh, pit road is going to be such an adventure. First of all, going in turn 3, NASCAR has a commitment line, a yellow line. You must cross that line if you're going to pit. If you don't, you can't. If you do, you've got to. Then, when you get on pit road, you've got to slow down to 30 miles per hour after running 100 miles per hour for sometimes an hour. And then you're right, Wally. Trying to find your pit can be so difficult. And then when you make your pit stop, you leave. 40 other cars trying to leave at the same time. Contact on pit road is almost guaranteed.
So a lot of contact on pit road and on the track, and you have to make sure you don't run out of patience today with all the guys you're racing around. Should be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it. 500 laps here at Martinsville. Let's go trackside and get the command.
And now, to give today's command to fire the engines for the Subway 500, today's Grand Marshal, Lewis Cribb, and other Subway representatives.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
43 cars roar to life on the half mile at Martinsville. Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR, is the proud sponsor of the Budweiser Pole Award, given to the fastest qualifier in each NASCAR NEXTEL Cup Series race. Budweiser congratulates Tony Stewart on his 3rd pole of the season, and we'll see Tony in the Budweiser shootout at Daytona in February of 2006. Subway 500 starting grid with Tony Stewart and Ricky Rudd on the front row.
As we look at our Harley-Davidson lineup, Rusty Wallace on the inside, Ryan Newman on the outside.
Row 3, Denny Hamlin. Boy, he's got a strong car for this race today, and Jimmy Johnson on the outside.
Jeremy Mayfield looking to make up some ground in the chase alongside Joe Nemechek in row 4.
Elliott Sadler trying to get over last week's disappointment on the inside of row 5, and Bobby Labonte on the outside.
Good run for the 43 car, Jeff Green, and Travis Kvapil on the outside, the 77.
Row 7, Kyle Petty in the 45, and Kurt Busch, another contender in the chase for the NEXTEL Cup.
Oh, this would be a good place for Jeff Gordon to get rid of the demons. Casey Mears on the outside, been running well lately.
Row 9, Brian Vickers looking for his first victory, and Carl Edwards is on the outside.
Drop back to row 10, Dave Blaney is there alongside Dale Earnhardt Jr. had that wild ride last Saturday night at Charlotte.
Jeff Burton on the inside of row 11. Greg Biffle, one of the guys chasing the NEXTEL Cup, on the outside.
Row 12, we've got Kyle Busch on the inside and Kenny Schrader on the outside.
Row 13, championship contender Matt Kenseth alongside of Scott Riggs.
Row 14, Mike Wallace on the inside, Rusty's brother, and Dale Jarrett on the outside.
Row 15, Kevin Harvick for Richard Childress and Jamie McMurray on the outside.
Row 16 is Mike Bliss, and the veteran Sterling Marlin starts 32nd.
Robbie Gordon on the inside, Casey Kane on the outside of row 17.
Row 18, got a chaser, Mark Martin. He's got a long way to go, but got a pretty good race car. Outside, Scott Wimmer.
Row 19, Bobby Hamilton makes the field alongside of Derek Hope.
And row 20, Michael Waltrip and Jimmy Spencer. Mystery excitement.
Hermie Sadler, Stanton Barrett fill out row 21.
Starting 43rd, Bobby Hamilton Jr. Take a look at the guys that didn't make the field. Mark Martin crashed here on Saturday. Will start his backup car at the back of the field, and Stanton Barrett also drops to the rear.
stand.
Laps on a half-mile track, a sold-out crowd in Martinsville, Virginia. There'll be a lot of bumping and banging. We'll see who comes out on top. Tony Stewart brings him down, waiting for the green flag. Glad you're along for the ride on NBC.
To the bottom of the racetrack, especially this early in the race. You really want to stay down on a low groove until there's a little bit of rubber up there on the outside.
Oh, powerful lead! Wow. Look at Rudd go.
Tony Stewart led the first lap, got his 5 bonus points. Ricky Rudd leads lap number 2.
Ricky Rudd is no slouch around this place. Likes this track, gets around it very well.
Rusty Wallace runs third, then his teammate Ryan Newman and Denny Hamlin. The names in yellow on the ticker at the top of the screen, the 10 drivers in the chase for the NEXTEL Cup.
Stewart's taking a look on the inside. Got Rusty right there with him.
He talked about wanting to be on the inside. Now he's given up that position.
Newman ducks down underneath Rusty. Ricky may lose a couple positions off of that.
Now that's the problem when cars get on the inside of you and you open up that inside. It just seems like it never closes, but he's able to beat Rudd down in the 1, and he's back on the inside and breathing a big sigh of relief.
Yeah, Ricky really got in there a little bit late. He hit the brakes late, went in there deep just enough to clear Rusty Wallace.
Dave Burns.
Okay, you guys were talking about the outside line. Jeff Gordon started 15th on the inside line, shot forward. Kurt Busch started on the outside line, fell way back, and is just now trying to get down that low line.
Yeah, another thing about Kurt Busch there, Dave, about 3 laps ago, he slid way up in turn 2 and lost a lot of spots.
And now Elliott Sadler, the 38 car, the yellow car on the outside, he's the victim. He's on the outside. Kurt Busch still out there.
That's what I talked about earlier. They go down into the corner here, and he slides way up the racetrack, and all of a sudden makes it 3 wide, so he lost 4 or 5 spots just in that one slip up.
Not the last time we'll see that today.
And I talked to Mike Kelly, the crew chief on this the car chief on the 97, and I said, how's the car? He said, the change is good. We'll run faster than the speeding bullet because they changed everything on the car this morning, trying to find a setup that Kurt Busch can get around the racetrack with.
I don't believe they found it here.
Doesn't seem like it.
It's going to be interesting to watch the Roush cars because none of them really that strong so far this weekend. Dave?
Just to back up what you guys were saying, Jimmy Fennig told me this morning we made a ton of changes, but we didn't have a winning race car. We had a 15th place car. It's either going to become a top 5 or we're going to have gone the wrong way, and so far they haven't figured it out.
It looks like he has to turn that car about 4 times, Dave. It looks like the car just won't cut. He gets in, he turns it, he turns it, he turns it. So it's really struggling through the center.
Started 14th, now back in 27th. Way back up through traffic, but not having a lot of luck.
This is when you start getting frustrated already. Try to run a little bit deeper, use those brakes. Got to be careful not to abuse the brakes.
Jeff Gordon, 24 on the inside of Kyle Petty, gets a spot away, and Elliott Sadler still on the outside in that 38 car.
Brian Vickers, another Hendrick car, trying to get around Kyle, 25. Alan Bestwick on Kyle Petty.
They build their best qualifying effort of 2005 here this weekend with this 13th place starting spot. Maybe Robbie Loomis's influence beginning to be felt around Petty Enterprises a little bit, huh? Both Kyle and Jeff Green had pretty decent nights at Charlotte last Saturday.
That they did. And Kyle's had some success here, although not in recent years. Bumper of Vickers.
Waffle right behind him. Casey Mears, the 41 behind him.
Stewart continues to lead. Then Ricky Rudd. Rusty Wallace runs third, Matt.
Bill, the Penske car is running third and fourth. Now they qualified third and fourth, and they picked pit stalls right next to each other. Number 9 and number 10. And in fact, I talked to Rusty and said, have you two spoken? So that way you two can give each other consideration, not cause each other to have a bad day because of a mistake on pit road. He said Roger Penske has gone back and forth between both teams, talking about consideration and patience right here on this very treacherous pit road.
Now, you'd think these guys could at least talk to each other rather than have someone talk for them. Oh! Elliott Sadler just bounced off the wall off turn 4, almost off the wall.
Kurt Busch continues dropping back. How about Elliott Sadler? Alan?
Yeah, called on the radio a couple laps ago, Bill, and said, I need major changes on the first pit stop. The car is really tight. That means he doesn't have the front end grip turning into and up off the corners that he needs to keep up.
He's got damage on his left front fender also. He got tangled up with somebody because right there at the bottom of the left front got some damage.
And that's when he made contact with that car. I think it was Kyle Busch off turn 4.
And that's a lot of the reason why he's pushing.
Greg Biffle in the 16. Dale Jarrett, former Martinsville winner in the 88. There's the race leader, Tony Stewart. And we're going to drop all the way back and try and find Mark Martin. And it'd probably be easier to go from Mark to Tony. Because Mark, who started 43rd, is just crossing the line now.
And Tony's just coming out of 4 now.
Marty. Well, Bill, how do you get from 35th to the front? Well, the plan for Pat Tryson and Mark Martin today is do the opposite of what everybody else does in terms of pit road. When they come to pit road, Mark will stay out. When they pit, Mark will, as I said, Mark will stay out, but when they stay out, Mark will pit. So if they take 4, he'll take 2. So whatever the leaders do, Mark will do the opposite, hoping it gets them up front, and at the end, they'll have the track position they need. Did you get that, Wally?
I'm pretty sure whatever Marty said, it'll be the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Wally. And Mark trying to tiptoe through the field, but has to be careful because the race leader, Tony Stewart, is gaining on him. Stewart, Rudd, Wallace, Ryan Newman, Denny Hamlin, the top 5 early in the Subway 500. Rode his car a little bit tight. He said rolling through the center of the corner, they're going to make most likely a wedge adjustment. Problem is, Jimmy cannot hear Chad Canals. They just now figured that out. They make the wedge adjustment for the 48 car, trying to loosen them up. Dave?
Matt Kenseth has started in the 25th position, has driven all the way up to 14th. One of the chase contenders. Matt comes to his pit stall now. No changes except the 4 tires and fill up full of fuel. Matt.
Rusty Wall stopped very short in his box to help his exit off pit road and not have an issue with his teammate at the 12. No changes on the Blue Deuce, Alan.
Tony Stewart going to get 4 tires, top off the fuel. They're pulling a piece of tape off the grill just to make sure their engine temperature stays where they want it all day.
We are under caution for a spin by Mike Wallace.
Come down the front stretch, and Mark Martin, the 6 car. Tony Stewart is right behind him. Mark says, I got to go. He goes to the corner, gets in the back of Mike Wallace, spins him out, brings out the caution flag, and saves himself a lap. Poor Mike.
No lucky dog. Mike Wallace, in fact, a very unlucky dog. Under caution at Martinsville.
Caution it out. Caution it out.
Field coming around to complete the second lap after the restart. Michael Waltrip did not pit under the caution. He is the race leader. Mike Bliss is trying to get a lap back. Tony Stewart is trying to get the lead from Waltrip.
A lot going on right now, but Bliss did get his lap back, and Stewart looks like he's going to get the lead.
And Ricky Rudd continues to follow that 20 car as he has most of the race so far.
It's very tight on pit road. Jeremy Mayfield was hit with a speeding penalty. Mayfield runs 31st right now. Here's our Craftsman pit summary. After the spin by Mike Wallace. Tony Stewart.
And Denny Hamlin was obviously the big loser, going from 3rd all the way back to 11th.
A part of that was that trickiness of getting on and off of pit road and in and out of your pit stall. It's hard for the veterans here, let alone for a rookie.
Exactly.
I saw some smoke out of the back of that 21 car. I don't know if that was tire smoke or... can see it then.
Jeff Gordon has moved his way up to 6th. Bobby Labonte, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin are in the top 10.
Well, if there was smoke, it seems to have gone away with the 21 car.
Now look at that train.
Gordon.
You got to think Michael's holding this whole line of cars up right now because he did not pit.
There are Chevy drivers to watch. Their best Martinsville finish. Gordon 6 wins here. Jimmy, a win in this race a year ago. Tony Stewart, a past winner here. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s best finish, a 3rd.
Well, that's the guy that most of them are going to be watching. Tony Stewart. Man, he's been on a roll here of late. Started and always fast.
Started on the pole.
Whoa, look at the air, it's getting rough.
Mitch Wallace and Michael Waltrip. Rusty Wallace right behind them.
Boy, I think if Michael gets stuck up there, he's going to go right to the back with all these guys that have changed tires.
And Junior jumped up on the outside. The traffic was so slow, he said, I think I'll go on the outside. And now he's out there, and I don't know if he can get back in. Talking about the red car, number 8, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Right behind Jeff Gordon. Dave?
Now he's got a spot.
And as we see that pass made, check with Jeff Gordon's crew this morning on what they worked on in final practice. They said, you know, it was really hard to fix the loose end of the corner, so we tried to help the car turn in the middle of the corner. Unfortunately, on that pit stop, that was Jeff's complaint still. The car won't turn in the middle of the corner. They made an air pressure adjustment, and Jeff will adjust the brake bias by himself inside the cockpit to try to help it turn.
Thank you, sir. Jeff under Michael Waltrip. Again, Waltrip did not pit under the caution and paying the price for that now.
Okay, he's got a lot of cars that are down on the bottom. Single file. Oh, it looks like you get a break here. Gets in line, but he's going to be struggling to stay ahead of these cars without a fresh set of tires on that car.
Well, you see Denny Hamlin. 3 Gibbs cars running inside the top 10.
Got quite a bit of damage to that right front on the 11 car.
Weren't you talking about in the Busch race yesterday that Denny Hamlin hadn't even made a Busch start yet at this time last year?
That's correct. Had not made a Busch start last year at this time, and now he is a year later driving NASCAR NEXTEL Cup, the top division in NASCAR.
Made his first Busch start at Darlington in November of last year. Matt Yoakum.
Well, just think back 1 year ago, he won $3,500 running a late model race here at Martinsville, finishing 3rd. He said it is, like you've heard so many times, like a dream come true, but the biggest thing he wants to do today, just keep his nose clean and log laps, and who knows what can happen. He had a very close call on pit road, making contact with Greg Biffle, escaped what could have been a big mess. Now he runs just inside the top 10. Snyder?
Jimmy Johnson currently in the 10th position. His car's been way too tight, Matt, and that's why you see him struggling, trying to stay on that bottom groove of the racetrack and pass Dale Earnhardt Jr., but the car way too tight for Jimmy. Round and a half of wedge in the right rear on the last stop, trying to loosen it up a little bit, but they had a good stop on pit road and got him out back in the top 10.
You do not make many friends racing here at Martinsville.
No, you really don't. Well, hey, it's so close racing, as you can just see with those two guys running side by side that long, that close, and just one little slip and you're up into the other car, and if somebody slides into your car, you think they did it on purpose.
4th consecutive race that Tony Stewart has led. He's out front at Martinsville in the Subway 500. Who's got into the side of Michael Waltrip?
Michael's got a right front down, and he looks like he's going to hit the wall again. Casey Kane just spun it sideways to avoid crashing into Michael.
I know we got a flat right here.
Second caution of the day at Martinsville.
You driving, Michael? I'm coming in right now.
Pit road is closed, but Michael will come in.
He can drive it, but it's a lot of problems. He's going faster than 30 miles per hour. He's got a flat tire, and he pitted too soon. Other than that, what choice did he have?
I think the 4-car possibly got ran into by Casey Kane.
And Michael Waltrip comes along, runs in the 4-car and knocks the air out of his right front.
There's the original contact.
Actually, Michael kept Mike Wallace from spinning totally out.
And coming and hitting the inside wall, looked like.
On board with Michael.
Watch. Caution is out. Caution is out. Caution is out.
Then, as Wally talked about, Michael went down in turn 1 and almost hit the wall again. Greg Biffle is the lucky dog. Running 30th. Will be allowed to come around and get back on the lead lap.
I tell you what, the Jack Roush cars are really struggling with that. There, at one time, Mark Martin, Kurt Busch, and Greg Biffle running nose to tail.
Right now, Martin is 27th, Busch 28th, Biffle 30th. Marty. Well, Jimmy Johnson has reestablished radio communication with Jack and Al. That's the good news. Car handling very well, too. That's good news also. Started neutral. Jimmy said they got a little tight at the end of that run. They will make a chassis adjustment on this stop, a wedge adjustment in the right rear. They've
Marty, the tires going on Jeff Gordon's car are very important, but what's coming off are important as well. Off the grill, tape. It's running a little hot. Out of the left rear, a spring rubber that'll help it turn better, Matt.
32 green flag laps on that last run, and tires really falling off, so they are going to make a 4-tire change. The chassis adjustment already completed for Ricky Rudd, just no grip. AB?
Tony Stewart asking his team to go a little farther, a little more of the adjustment they made last time. You'll see them do that, or actually they already did. A little wedge adjustment. 4-tire stop. Watch for Jeremy Mayfield to take just 2 here.
lot of traffic trying to get off of pit road. We'll sort out the running order when we come back to Martinsville. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. We've completed 1 green flag lap after the restart. Matt Kenseth is the race leader. Matt and Mark Martin did not pit. Tony Stewart did, and he's coming.
Tony Stewart has moved up to the 2nd position. Mark Martin, the 6 car, has gotten hung on the outside and just cannot get back to the inside. Marty, he's struggling on the outside.
Yes, indeed. He is struggling with a very tight race car, but they called that early in the race. As we talked about, they were going to plan to not come. If the leaders came, this was when they were going to do it. Trying to get some track position back, BP. They don't expect to stay in the top 5. They would like to stay in the top 10 to 15, and then they've gained 15 more spots than they had before.
Alongside of Ricky Rudd, with Jamie McMurray right behind, and Rusty Wallace, who runs 7th.
With that 42 car, that must have been a 2-tire stop this time.
Travis Quapple also using pit strategy to get up into the top 5 in the 77 Kodak Dodge.
Murray takes a spot. Rusty Wallace fills that hole, and then Jeff goes right behind Rusty, so hopefully Mark.
Caution is out, debris on the track. So we're under caution for debris here at Martinsville.
NBC's coverage of the Subway 500 is brought to you by Lowe's, where you'll find all your home improvement needs. Lowe's, where improving home improvement never ends. By Bank of America, higher standards. By Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR. Grab a cold one, the race is on. And by McDonald's.
Field coming around to get the green flag here at Martinsville as soon as you get that gentleman off the track. Busch Series ran yesterday at Memphis. Benny, how about Clint Boyer coming from the back, huh?
Fantastic. Started at the rear, came all the way through and passed him. No strategy, takes the lead and won.
100 points behind Martin Truex Jr. with 3 races to go for the NASCAR Busch Series. Green about to come out. Matt Kenseth is the race leader.
And we can see Kenseth trying his best to beat that 25 car down into turn 1.
So we can get to the inside.
Vickers gets a little bit sideways, has to pinch the car down. Here comes Stewart. And he'll give him room. That's bad news for Kenseth.
We saw that unscheduled stop by Brian Vickers. He is now 3 laps behind the leader.
Travis Quapple runs 3rd in that Kodak machine, right side tires only on his last pit stop.
And as this race goes on, we'll see more pushing and shoving, less patience being used.
And you think that's about to start, don't you?
Yeah, I believe it has started.
Rusty Wallace, Mark Martin for position.
And Mark did not hit that last caution flag. He's still out there with those tires with more miles on them than the competition.
And he's going to get, I think he's going to keep losing spots, Marty. What do you think?
Well, yeah, they got a tight race car, too. He's got tires that are about 60 laps old now while he last pitted at lap 47. Well, Martin's so positive behind the radio. It's a new Mark Martin. He said, guys, this day's going to be just fine. Don't worry about it. We're going to lose some positions, but we will be fine. We have a good race car. Just need some new tires. Matt?
Marty working all over the back of the 6 is the 12 of Ryan Newman. Only 17 points out of first. Now, he lost 2 spots last week. Thinks this could be a good place to pick up as he works on the inside of the 08. His car, not bad balance-wise. Just needs to be able to roll better through the center of the corner. Told Matt Borland, think about what you want to do to improve this race car for our next stop.
Last 4 races here at Martinsville for Ryan Newman, a 4th, a 3rd, and 2 5th-place finishes.
I talked to Ryan Monday and asked him where he felt like his strongest racetracks coming up in the chase for the NEXTEL Cup would be, and he said, surprisingly, Martinsville was one of the racetracks he felt like was an advantage for him and his team. Phoenix being the other.
Finally getting underneath Martin, and Newman passed him. Now Jimmy Johnson's going to line up and take the spot.
And Tony Stewart gets up behind Matt Kenseth, and Kenseth said, hey, Tony, I know you're faster. Go right ahead.
Matt will be very happy to follow him around for a while. Kenseth did not stop. Everybody else did, just about everybody else, on the most 2 cautions ago, actually. Now it's time for the Singular Race Talk $1,031 challenge. What is your favorite short track moment of 2005? Harvick won at Bristol. Jeff Gordon won here at Martinsville in the spring. Casey Kane got his first career win. That came at Richmond. And Matt Kenseth got that breakthrough win at Bristol back in August. Vote, text the word race to 191 on your Singular wireless phone, or go to NASCAR.com. You'll also be entered for a chance to win $1,031.
Gordon's trying to get underneath 2 of Rusty Wallace. A little bit of contact there.
These 2 have a short track history.
It's like the 24 has got enough race car underneath Rusty. If he can just roll out a corner and the car get a bite, he'll take the spot, and he does.
But I tell you what, you're always concerned when those cars rub like that, puncturing a tire, like the right front tire on Jeff Gordon's car. He catches just the least little thing on Rusty's car, and bam, you have a flat tire.
Sometimes they'll break the valve stem off.
Right, exactly.
Matt Yoakum.
And Bill, owner Roger Penske said, logging laps, a long way to go. And Rusty said 10-4, just logging laps. Just trying to settle in now as we're here at lap 111.
Uh-oh. Denny Hamlin.
That's a caution flag in the making there.
Oh, but Denny's not. It looks like Denny got into the right side, or somebody got into the right side of Denny pretty hard, and he is going to be black flagged for that bumper hanging off the back.
And that's too bad.
Yeah, he's in 19th spot right there. He's got a good race car, but boy, he got tangled up with somebody.
See if we can find out what happened.
He's on the outside here of possibly Mike Wallace. And Mike just tears off the rear bumper. Mike's having a pretty eventful day today.
Getting a lot of airtime, isn't he?
Yeah.
And Derek Cope, the 08 car, literally stopped on the backstretch, but
looks like he's got a left rear flat.
Coming around the corner, got a flat tire.
So he crawls to his pit stall.
Denny Hamlin hits pit lane to get that rest of the rear bumper pulled off the car, because it eventually will fall off on the racetrack if he didn't come in.
Now then, can he do it at 30 miles per hour?
That's very hard to do.
It's almost impossible, and especially this young guy, this first time here.
Ricky Rudd inside of Matt Kenseth for second.
Something like that, you go down 2 or 3 laps here, it's very hard to come back from too at Martinsville.
We're told the 08 had contact with the 38 of Elliott Sadler. Could have led to the flat tire.
And that's what I was talking about with Jeff Gordon, Rusty Wallace contact just a moment ago.
So Hamlin he just comes out of the pits, and Tony Stewart's just behind him, so he's lost 1 lap so far. Possibly, but it'll be 2 by the time we get back from commercial.
Tony Stewart has led 88 of the 116 laps here at Martinsville. We will take you through the field when we come back to the Subway 500. action here at Martinsville, and we're going to follow this trail right here, this black trail. What is that, Benny?
Well, that's oil. Oh,
Yeah.
it makes a sharp left.
Uh-oh.
Up, here we go. Whoop, 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 whoop. Whoop. There it is.
What is that line?
That was ugly, BP. That's all I got to say.
That was as ugly as that oil line.
Brian Vickers to the garage. Leaders to pit road. We check in with Snyder.
Well, Jimmy Johnson using the same pit stall he won this race from last year. Says he's about 2/10 off from the leaders, but we're getting better little bit by little bit with each stop. 4 tires from this stop. Car is still too tight on exit for Jimmy. They're going to make a track bar adjustment this time. Dave?
Matt Kenseth finally getting some fresh tires. He said, okay, everybody's on pit road. Let's get them, guys. No changes to the chassis. Matt.
Ricky Rudd says he runs till it starts to get tight, and then he takes it easy, doesn't want to burn up his brakes. Just an air pressure adjustment on the 21 car, AB.
Tony Stewart said, I'm pretty happy with my car on that run. Greg Zipadelli, his crew chief, said, well, what can we do to make it better? Very minor adjustments. Tony complaining that they didn't open pit road soon enough. He said, I almost missed it.
And Ryan Newman, the 12 car, will win the race off pit road.
How about that? Might have been some contact down there between the 5 and the 48 as well.
Watch this crew cam. Nick Terry, Jackman for Kevin Harvick. Okay, tires are down. Let's go around the left side, guys.
Everybody working hard on pit road at Martinsville.
This week's Nextel Fan of the Week is Doug Glass from Elon, North Carolina. Now, Doug is a professor at Elon University and teaches the Business of NASCAR program at Elon. How did this program start, Doug?
Dr. Danny Brown saw NASCAR as a huge growing business back 13 years ago. And the Mattiolis from Pocono also helped sponsor this class, and it's very popular with the students.
Now, what do the students do in your program?
We go visit all kinds of places like Daytona, Rockingham, various businesses that are affected, especially the Petties, have been such a good support to the class and the students.
Hey, if you want to be the Nextel Fan of the Week, log on to NASCAR.com/Nextel.
Thank you, Marty.
You know, I went to that class once several years, about 10 years ago at Elon with Janie Brown, and I ran across her about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
Edwards did not pit. 2 tires for Ryan Newman. Tony Stewart restarts 5th. Everybody hang on, here we go.
Kurt Busch, 97. 99 of Carl Edwards, trying to do anything they can to get some kind of track position. Because they've seen in the back they can't pass anyone, so let's do it on pit strategy.
The 9 car pulls way off to the inside of the racetrack. It looks like he may have a problem.
He's got a problem from NASCAR, an improper restart for Casey Kane. Past 2 cars.
Okay, so he let those cars pass and fix the problem so he doesn't have to get black flag for that.
So Carl Edwards, 99, losing some spots. 12 car Newman goes by. Tony Stewart goes by. Rusty Wallace is trying to go by. Couldn't quite make it. Denny Hamlin, 11 car, trying to get by Jeff Gordon. Hamlin is what, a couple of laps down, just 1 down.
1 lap down.
Runs in 34th. Ryan Newman and Tony Stewart. Stewart takes the position.
No contest.
One of the contenders in the chase for the Nextel Cup. How about him, Alan?
Yeah, Bill, this is his 3rd race at Martinsville. He called the first 2 disastrous. Carl Steen just trying to get some track position. Talked about that a second ago. They were running back in 24th place before the pit stops. Really a lot of complaints from Carl about the handling of this car. They're already planning what they're going to do for it next time they stop.
Jimmy Spencer there in the 37 car. He's a couple laps down. Jimmy McMurray trying to work underneath Jimmy.
Meanwhile, Schrader and Kurt Busch are trying to pull away. Tony Stewart has gotten around the 32 of Bobby Hamilton Jr., so now he and Newman will begin pursuit of the front 2 cars.
And Kurt Busch, that 97, he wants to get by this 49 so badly because that's 5 points if he can get there, Dave.
That's big, BP. They've also been playing track position games, like you said. Stay out now to stay up front. But he also, the last time he pitted, had to come around 2 different times to change lefts 1 time and rights the other time. He was running so far back, and Benny, you know, with the leader coming back around, around. It's easy to go down a lap if you don't really get on and off pit road quick when you're running in the back.
I've seen that today, Dave. These cars that are running back in the 30th position, they've got to stop twice to change 4 tires rather than take a chance on getting lapped. And Tony Stewart is going to get by the 97 before he can get by Schrader and lead a lap.
Stewart to second. Again, Schrader and Busch did not pit. On older tires. Stewart now on the bumper of Schrader. Not for long. This will be over in a hurry.
All it took was 1 lap.
Tony Stewart back to the lead. Has led 97 of the 141 laps.
Newman and Wallace side by side. Matt, what are they saying about the 12?
Well, difference in the strategy. The 12 team took 2 tires a lap, stopped to help out a little bit on track position. Said the balance was good. His teammate Rusty, they were thinking about the 2 tires, but they said, well, the 17 and the 6 took 2. It didn't really work out for them. Let's go with the conservative strategy of 4 tires so far, paying off, trying to work his way back up to the front, chasing the 20.
He's got the 24 all over his bumper right now. Jeff Gordon takes a look. About halfway there.
You drag race down the straightaways here, and then you try and dive it in low when you get to the turn.
You get on the brakes real hard, then you get off the brakes as fast as you can, and you let the car roll. If the car will roll through the center so you can pick up the gas, you've got a good race car here. But if the car slides through the center and you have to wait on it, you get past.
And some folks call this racetrack a giant paper clip, and that's basically how it is. Long straightaways and really, really tight corners.
Ryan Newman giving up positions. You see Rusty now on the bumper of Schrader. Rusty will go to the inside. Schrader will try and slam the door on him, but this won't last very long either.
Hey, check this 21 car on the inside of Jeff Gordon. Ricky Rudd, extremely fast today.
Dave, what are you working on down there?
The 49 of Ken Schrader are actually trying to hold on to the lead, or has he gone back?
Yes, he's second right now.
Second place right now. You know, Kenny's run here 42 times, counting today. Has never won, but we know how much Schrader loves short track racing. Any day to track under a mile is a good day for Schrader.
He's going to get back a few positions now. Wallace goes by. Busch goes by.
Once these guys have stopped, their tires get up the pressures and they get some heat in them. That's it.
Ricky Rudd for position, Matt.
Definitely moving back up toward the front. Had some issues on his last pit stop. Lost a couple spots. But he says the car is almost perfect. He said the car is great. But he says Stewart's car is exceptional. He can flat-foot it almost all the way through the corner where I have to lag and let the car pick up. Because that's where we're losing about maybe a car length at each end of the racetrack every lap. If we can improve that a little more, that lag time when I can get back in the gas, look out.
Our second place runner.
Front damage, back left front.
Mike Bliss sitting in the middle of the track.
Major damage.
Well, you can tell the disappointment in his voice. There's Bliss.
The 0 car has hit the outside wall. And Ricky Rudd,
I'm sure this is just being at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Tell you.
Let's take a look.
There you see the 20 car. Oh, Bliss gets into the 10 car, hits Sterling, and throws, literally, Sterling into the 21 car. That's just being, like I said, the wrong place at the wrong time.
And then the 21 car comes down and hits the inside wall.
Man, and Stewart was just a car away from that mess.
There's Tony right there in the 20, race leader.
Sterling Marlin tried to launch in that 40 car.
This takes Ricky right to the wall. No lucky dog. They were involved in the incident. Pit road is open. Marty, coming around to you at the high speed of 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, it looks like it's crawling, doesn't it, Weber? And Jimmy Johnson running in 7th on the racetrack because his car just is too tight to keep up with those guys who are in front of him. So they're going to do the same adjustment they did last time, go up 1 round on the track bar. They're also going to make a wedge adjustment on Jimmy Johnson's car. It'll be 4 tires for the 4018. Dave?
Kurt's car has been tight all day. Now it's gotten a little bit loose. Well, it'll turn too freely, so they're going to make an air pressure adjustment on the right front. 4 tires and fuel. Matt?
Still no chassis adjustment for Rusty Wallace. This car near flawless all day. Already going to work on the left side. Pull a tariff off, AB. They're looking good. He's away.
Tony Stewart said to his crew chief, Greg Zipadelli, this car is cutting really, really nice. A very minor air pressure adjustment, 4 tires, and another very solid stop for the Orange Gang.
And Tony Stewart leads the field off of pit road. Under caution here at Martinsville on the Subway 500 live on NBC.
Car.
Michael Waltrip, the race leader, did not pit.
He's in the lead, but hurry up and watch because he won't be there long.
Because Tony Stewart did pit.
Yeah.
And Ricky Rudd, the 21 car, who has been the primary competition for Tony Stewart today, restarted back in 27th position.
Last car on the lead lap.
And there goes Tony.
Back to the front. Let's check in with Marty.
And Bill, a hard hit for Mike Bliss. You all right, and what happened?
Well, we weren't that good today. You know, we were riding around, and then we had the 10 on the bottom, and he just, I don't know if he hit the curb or something, but he just pushed right up into us. That second week in the row, the 10 has wiped us out. And I get nervous when I race against him. I knew something, but Tony was there, and we had to keep going. But Martinsville.
See you next week.
All right.
Clearly disappointed. Rusty Wallace trying to get past Waltrip. Jeff Gordon right behind him, the 24.
It's a battle for the second position. The 41 car, the pink Casey Mears automobile, is 1 lap down to the leaders.
Runs in 29th.
And he's trying to catch Elliott Sadler, who's right in front of him, who is the next car a lap down. So he's trying to get in that lucky dog spot.
And Denny Hamlin, the 11 car, he's chasing both those guys down.
And once again, Mike Wallace involved in an incident.
Has he missed any yet today?
Missed the one down here, I think.
That's right.
On board with Juniors, he goes in the corner, and Mike just simply doesn't give him enough room on the inside of the racetrack. And wisely, Junior backed up and avoided an accident.
Mears in the 41. As Benny talked about, not a lead lap car. Rusty runs second. Jeff Gordon is third. Stewart has led 137 of the 188 laps. Of course, he led 247 laps here in the spring.
Now, Rusty's going to want to get by the 41 pretty bad, so I wouldn't be surprised to see some bumper action here. But, you know, Casey Mears is trying to get past the 38 of Elliott Sadler to be in that position in case the yellow comes out, so.
Rusty trying to get on the inside.
Mears gave him some room.
And Casey cut him a break there.
Yeah.
He did, gave him some room, and I'm sure Rusty will appreciate that. Casey won't, but Rusty will.
So does Casey's rear bumper.
Now Gordon. Denny Hamlin in that 11.
And there's a guy that's a lap down, so now he's after Elliott Sadler, because he's going to take the spot away from Casey Mears.
Sadler in the 28th position. The first car 1 lap down.
Hey, what if Hamlin if he can get that lap back, get a good finish out of this.
This car is fast, the 11 car. Of course, it's a teammate to Tony Stewart. That's not a real shock.
Bobby Labonte, who had been running in the top 10, is currently 20th. He was tagged with a pit road speeding penalty under the last caution. So was Kyle Busch. Marty?
Well, Bill, car is slowly creeping up towards the front of the field. They've had a tight race car for most of the afternoon, but they have had some great pit stops on pit road. The last 2 stops have gained Jimmy positions, and as you guys know in the booth, track position here in Martinsville always critical.
Yeah, we saw Ricky Rudd up there second place all day. He starts at the rear. We'll see how long it takes him to work his way back to the front. Of course, we don't know how badly his car is injured from the crash he had with the inside retaining wall.
I would be surprised if that car doesn't have some kind of damage. He got hit hard on the right side and the left side, Matt.
Wally pitted 3 times really to work on the cosmetic damage to pull those fenders away from those front tires. Ricky came on the radio and said the good thing is the steering wheel is not really turned, meaning he hasn't knocked the toe out. Fatback told me today, he says, #1 concern, racing luck. Sometimes we've taken ourselves out, sometimes other people have, and he caught up in somebody else's mess again today.
I would say aerodynamically he's not at his best right now in the front of that car.
A long way to go, though. Closing in on lap 200 of 500 here at Martinsville. It's Kurt Busch wants around Michael Waltrip.
There he goes.
And Michael goes around and backs it into the wall. Caution is out.
Gee, I wonder if there was contact. And here's where we talked about the frustration and the paybacks earlier.
There's another car. Is that the 10 car that's sitting down there?
Yeah, turn 2.
He gets his car righted and takes off.
And Carl Edwards went around. Elliott Sadler gets the lucky dog. Let's see what we can see here.
I think this will be self-explanatory.
Pretty much.
A tap from Kurt Busch, and around goes Michael.
So the patience has started wearing thin before we got to lap 200.
You gotta remember, Michael's not on as good a tire, so he's kind of tiptoeing through the corner. Can't get on the throttle as quick as a 97.
And then Riggs and Edwards.
Synchronized.
Yes, got trapped in traffic back there. Under caution at Martinsville, Tony Stewart leads Rusty Wallace and Jeff Gordon. Still under caution here at Martinsville, Kurt Busch being held on pit road, a 1-lap penalty from NASCAR for rough driving after contact with the 15. Kurt was not pleased, as you can imagine.
And I think NASCAR, in making that call, is trying to nip all this stuff in the bud before it gets completely out of hand.
I predict that doesn't work.
Okay, we'll see.
I'm not much of a gardener, but I believe you, Bill.
Well, thank you. For more on NASCAR, log on to NBCSports.com. Benny has an in-depth preview of each race in the chase for the NEXTEL Cup Championship, and Alan Bestwick looks at the chances of Tony Stewart winning his 2nd Cup Championship. That's all at NBCSports.com. Take a look at the results from our Singular Race Talk poll. Remember, you can still text RACE to 191 for a chance to win the $1,031. Casey Kane's win at Richmond in May, the winner. How'd you vote?
I voted C.
Very good.
I want that $31.
It's $1,031.
As these guys, as Kurt Busch leaves pit road, guess who's right beside of him? Michael Waltrip.
Boys.
And they're side by side, and
there's more of that to come.
What was that, BP?
Oh no.
Trying to nip it in the bud.
They tried.
But part of Kurt's argument was the fact that the 15 car was on older tires, as you talked about, Wally.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's part of the deal racing here. Your guys are going to be on different strategies. You got to figure your way around them.
Denny Hamlin right now in that 11 car, the first car 1 lap down. Separates the leader, Tony Stewart, from Rusty Wallace and Jeff Gordon.
Now, Rusty Wallace might find out how fast that 11 car is by following him, because he might not be able to catch him.
Car gets off the corners really well, the 11 car, Denny Hamlin. Just rolls through the center good, but really gets off the corners.
Green just got a piece of it.
Rudd almost got in another one. Doesn't look like he's real happy.
I think he wants to say hello to somebody.
There's there's just not that much happiness here sometimes.
Can't call the place Pleasantville.
There's a 43 car. Looks like he's angry at the 10 car. So I wonder if the 10 had something to do with that.
Denny Hamlin is the lucky dog. There's Blaney, the 07.
All right, let's take a look.
The 08 car of Derek Cope comes down, and the 07 gets on the inside of him. Cope, I don't guess, realized that the 07 was on the inside. He had a car on the outside.
And the 43 and the 10 just they got together just trying to avoid everything.
Derek Cope in that 08, 10 laps down.
Jeff Green, wrong place, right time again.
Scott Riggs got a piece of it. Carl Edwards brushes the wall. One of the contenders in the chase for the NEXTEL Cup. WWE Championship, Monday Night Raw, live only on USA.
I could have taken Marty myself. That wasn't the issue. But did you see how hard a time he had picking up Marty? Marty's put a few pounds on. That's a big boy.
Good thing I wasn't here, huh? He strained his back.
Just keep Marty's mic closed for a while, okay?
Tony Stewart leads Rusty Wallace. Trying to stay clear of the lap cars.
And Jeff Gordon is third place car, but he's hung up on the outside of lap cars that Casey Kane and the 09 Bobby Hamilton trying their best to figure out who's going to be the lucky dog in case the caution flag comes out. Finally gets by Casey Kane, the 9.
Now Kane wants Gordon to get past the 09 of Hamilton quickly so he can have a shot at him before the caution comes out.
And he wants to keep the 42 car behind him until all this happens.
There's Gordon now. Takes a look underneath. Can take the spot away. Now, here's the fight. Casey Kane's taking a look.
Usually the guy on the inside wins.
Yep, gonna win this time too.
Carl Edwards currently runs 22nd. He did come to pit road for attention to the rear end of that car after brushing the wall when that last caution came out. Alan, you got some more on that?
Yeah, that's actually the second consecutive caution that Carl has been sort of involved in, Bill. Remember when Michael Waltrip got spun? Carl also spun behind that. After the first yellow, they were concerned whether or not they turned the engine over backwards. They don't think they did. This last one, he brought the car down. They changed tires, looked it over. His crew chief, Bob Osborne, told him the car's a little beat up, no major damage. Spotter Bobby Hudson chimed in. That looks like a Martinsville car.
And most of them will by the end of the day.
Except Tony Stewart's.
Long way to go.
Yeah, you're right. We haven't reached halfway yet.
There's Mark Martin in the 6. Harvick in the 29. Without Todd Barrier as crew chief this week.
Gil Martin, the crew chief for Clint Boyer in the NASCAR Busch Series, has stepped in to help out on the 29 car today.
Dave?
Of course, Gil, after winning the Busch Series race with Clint Boyer yesterday in Memphis, made the plane ride home. This morning he met with the team and he said, you know, guys, I've never been part of one of those double win weekends. Anything you'd like to do to help out would be fine with me.
Harvick runs in the 14th spot. Mark Martin and Bobby Labonte behind him. Bobby in the 18. And the struggle today for Mark in the 6. Lost a car here in practice. That's a backup car. Had to start at the rear of the field today. He's trying to use pit strategy to help him gain some track position.
And it worked, but eventually the guys that put on tires, just that was more important.
Still 28 cars run on the lead lap here. Marty?
You mean Wally's going to let me talk now?
You better make it fast.
I can't believe John Cena was that weak. He couldn't pick me up. That was unbelievable.
You said it, not me.
I know, Wally. He's a good man. Hey, Mark Martin did use that pit strategy earlier, and you saw him back in the 20s for much of that last run. Mark came on the radio and said, guys, it just makes no sense for me to push my car hard now because we'll have no brakes at the end of the race. So he has patiently made his way up to the field. Now he's up in about 15th position, running much better. Car not as tight as it was early on, Matt.
His teammate Greg Biffle running inside the top 20. Now they tested here at Martinsville. Came back with high hopes, had a very solid test, but the car has just been a balance problem all weekend. He says the front of the car just will not grip. It's been chattering and skipping in the corners. They have worked on it all weekend long, and the car has been tight again. They've made a number of stops today. Now he says they've made it too loose on that last run.
Thanks, Matt. Today is a special day for Subway restaurants. The Subway restaurant chain, the world's largest submarine sandwich franchise, will donate 5% of today's sales from their 18,000 plus U.S. restaurants to the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund to aid emergency needs of hurricane survivors. The effort is expected to raise more than $1 million. And for all of you in the path of Wilma, we wish you the best down there in Florida.
Hey, what, BP? These guys are looking for a place to crash into each other. I mean, they are sliding and running into each other all the way around the track.
Well, they're trying. Biffle in the 16 kind of forced the issue there.
43 gets in the back of them.
Kind of came down on the 43, and I think Jeff Green said, oh, don't do that.
Dave.
And Bill, we've seen all the Roush cars struggle this weekend. A couple of them did try that Greg Biffle setup because he is the teammate that tested here. Matt Kenson tried it, and it didn't work. And by the time Jimmy Fennig was considering options for the 97 car, he said, now we've seen that it didn't work. We never put it on our car.
You see how the Roush cars are running?
One thing about those Roush cars, sure will be glad to get to Atlanta next week, won't they?
Oh, yes. Yes, they will be. Stewart continues to lead. We've completed 232 laps. He's led over 180 of them. Tony Stewart trying to get back to victory lane in Martinsville and get back on top by himself in the chase. Spencer back to the garage and see what happened here.
Junior goes in the corner, and from what we heard on the radio, the 29, yes, just touches him in the rear, and around goes the 8. Unfortunately, the 38 comes along and runs into the 88. So both the Yates cars involved. Marty?
Well, BP, they've tried wedge and track bar to loosen up Jimmy Johnson's car, and so far it hasn't worked. So this time they will do wedge and an air pressure adjustment on his car, pound in the right rear. Dave?
Crew Chief Steve Letarte for the 24 said, I'm glad we're pitting because I want to try something. They're going to make a little track bar adjustment, get the car to roll through the middle, up and off the corner. Matt?
And once again, no changes for Rusty Wallace in the Blue Deuce. Roger Penske told him smart work last time. Very solid work. A little bit slow on the left front, AB.
Last pit stop, Tony Stewart's team made a half-pound adjustment of air pressure on the right rear tire. How much are they just fine-tuning this smooth-running machine? He said, split the difference this time.
Greg Zipadelli, Stewart's crew chief, trying to get his driver a second series championship. Under caution, Kevin Harvick up on the back bumper of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Jr. around, and the caution is out. One show this fall that Wally says you just have to see. NBC's new Tuesday comedy, My Name is Earl. Join Earl Tuesdays at 9, 8 Central on NBC. Still working the caution here. Field getting the 1 to go. Let's cue the duck, BP.
Sounds like a winner. What does the Aflac have for us this week? Only driver competing today with 13 wins in the state of Virginia. Well, that'd have to be Jeff Gordon, wouldn't it?
I would say it might be driver 2.
Rusty Wallace. Right.
7 at Martinsville, 6 at Richmond.
Very nice. Missouri conquering Virginia.
Dave Blaney and Jeff Burton did not pit. They run first and second in front of Tony Stewart. Keep your eyes on the inside lane.
Kurt Busch, 97. 1 lap down. No more. Yep. Tony Stewart trying to drive on the inside of Jeff Burton, 31 for the second position. This shouldn't be much of a contest.
Dave Blaney last led at Atlanta, his 3rd time leading this season. Casey Mears on Blaney's bumper.
Mears needs to go. And get one of his laps back.
Wow. Just drove across the nose of that 20 car, did Casey Mears.
Tony looking at the inside of Mears.
Yo. What's going on with the 31, Marty?
Well, guys, he had a tight race car for most of the day, but he last pitted on lap 216 when he had a left rear flat tire. They took left sides only on that stop. So the right sides on that 31 car have been on there since lap 176. It's a long time for those right sides.
Yes, it is.
Coming to halfway this time. And folks, this is when the Subway 500 at Martinsville really begins. 27 cars on the lead lap. And all your patience pretty much worn out.
Well, so far, by this point in the race, somebody has made you angry. So, so you know, you're already mad at somebody.
Like from the opening stand-up?
And you're looking for somebody. Looking for you this morning. But, so yeah, this is when the patience starts running out. And
Kurt Busch in that 97 car was held on pit road 1 lap for rough driving after Michael Waltrip went around on the nose of the 97. Dave Burns.
And time is running out. He's going to move up and let the 20 go by. Immediately after he got back on the tail end of the lead lap, of course, what he needed was a caution. So what did he see in turn 2?
Debris.
Exactly. He radioed that in right away, but nobody bought it. And unfortunately, Kurt now goes back down 1 lap.
But he is in position to get the lucky dog if it comes out. He's racing Casey Mears right now for that position and Bobby Hamilton. Meanwhile, Stewart has worked his way to the front. Blaney second, Jeff Burton third, Rusty Wallace, Jeff Ford in the top 5.
I think Stewart just really hasn't had any competition. Nobody has shown him anything today that they would be a threat.
Drivers in yellow on the ticker at the top of the screen. The 10 drivers in the chase for the NEXTEL Cup Championship. There are the points as they run right now. Stewart and Johnson started the day tied.
And Biffle started the day 11 back. He's now, what, 101. Lost 90 so far today.
There's only 142 points back to 10th, and now you can see Kurt Busch back 250 points. 4 to go after today. Rusty Wallace looking inside of Jeff Burton with Gordon right on his bumper. Jamie McMurray trying to get up there.
How about that 42 car? Terrific run for those guys today.
Really, for all the laps on the right side of the 31 car Burton, he's hanging in there pretty good.
I was noticing about 100 laps ago. I looked up the scoring monitor, and Jeff Burton ran the fastest lap. That lap I happened to check. So he has a pretty good race car.
Here Rusty moves underneath. Now obviously he's probably going to lose 2 or 3 spots because you've got Gordon right behind him.
Marty, how about the 31 car?
Well, guys, remember we told you in Through the Field a little while ago, Jeff still has that transmission problem. When it goes down the backstretch, maybe you guys can talk a little more about it. He said it pops. Kind of hard to describe it. It pops 2 or 3 times going down the backstretch, and he feels it in the shifter knob.
Huh. Don't know.
We can't help you on that one.
At least it was unanimous. Tell you what, let's jump on board. Jeff Burton. Right now battling with McMurray.
Can't really see the shifter from here, but you can see driver works hard here. He's always turning. You're hard on the accelerator, you're hard off the accelerator, then you jump on the brakes, then you turn the car, and you're trying to do this around a lot of other cars and not slide the car into somebody, because the car's always sliding.
I don't hear anything from the exhaust as he goes down the corner. All we hear is him slamming on the brakes.
You got somebody in your ear every single lap here. You've got your spotter telling you, you know, inside, outside, you know, car 2 back, 1 back, which means there's a car closing in on you. Some guys like to hear their lap times. Very, very busy laps here at Martinsville.
Crew chief wants to know what the car is doing.
Yeah, what's the car doing? What's your temperatures? Give me your water temperature when you get a chance. You know, make sure you take care of your brakes. And there's just a lot of information going in and out of your head. Plus, you're feeling everything the car's doing, and you're racing guys. So, like I said, you don't get the top speed here. You do like Atlanta next week, but you're still very busy and exhausted after this race.
Rusty Wallace and Jeff Gordon, BP.
Out of the 3rd position, and Gordon is starting to show some strength. He's going to get behind the 20 car and battle him like that.
Coverage of the Subway 500 is brought to you by Principal Financial Group. We'll give you an edge. By UPS, the official express delivery company of NASCAR. UPS, we're going to race the truck. People love the truck. By Lowe's, where you'll find all your home improvement needs. Lowe's, where improving home improvement never ends. And by Subway. Come into Subway today and support the American Red Cross. Together we can help.
Well, the plan was to take you through the field, but Jeff Green has changed that plan. Just brought out the 9th caution of the day.
That's usually what happens, isn't it?
Promise through the field, the caution comes out.
You can't keep promises, can you, Bill?
I try my best, Wally.
There's all those sheet metal laying out there. I'm sure there's probably something that cut that right front. He didn't hit the wall, though.
Just got a good close look at it. Pit road is still closed. Jeff returns to the track.
And they are going to blow the track, which is a good move.
286 laps are complete. Tony Stewart has led 226.
Kind of a domination, wouldn't you say?
He has been a very strong car today. Pit road remains closed. Trying to get some of the safety vehicles out on the track.
That's really a pretty good idea to close pit road, blow the racetrack off, try to get whatever debris off the track they can, then open pit road, and in case they have flat tires.
Next Sunday, NASCAR is back on NBC for NEXTEL Cup racing from the Atlanta Motor Speedway, presented by the Home Depot. Of course, Carl Edwards won there earlier this year. NEXTEL Cup racing from Atlanta, presented by the Home Depot, next Sunday, noon Eastern, beginning with the Bank of America Countdown to Green right here on NBC.
Heck, Carl Edwards swept the weekend in Atlanta back in the spring,
Yes,
won Saturday and Sunday. But the NASCAR Busch Series will not be there Saturday, I should say. You can only win one race.
That's right. We'll see them when we get to Texas. You see the green flag indicates pit road is open. Tony Stewart coming. Rusty Wallace slowed down as he began down pit road. Almost got tapped by Jeff Gordon. Heading for you with the 48, Marty.
Yeah, Bill, the Lowe's boys got a pep talk after their last stop where they lost 5 positions. See how they do this time. Car is tight for Jimmy. They put a round in the right rear wedge and a round out of left rear end wedge. David.
Jeff Gordon's car difficult to turn as he rolls through the middle of the corner and getting on the gas. Air pressure wedge and track bar adjustments for Jeff. Matt.
Rusty Wallace stops a little shorter in his box on this stop. He was a little long in the box last time. Ruined his exit and the 12, his teammate's entry. No changes again for Rusty. Amy.
And the leader, Tony Stewart, in the first stall on pit road, told his crew chief, Greg Zipatilli, make very minor adjustments. We don't need much here. Once again, they will remain the leaders off the pit lane.
Man, And those guys have held serve all day long with that 20 car.
They have done a good job. Tony Stewart with a different paint scheme today, promoting a new line of power tools at the Home Depot. Working on the 29 there, VP with Nick Terry.
Jack Mann watches them change them, tighten the right front tires, around the left. Come on, guys, get them on. Let's go. And away he goes.
There's an Earnhardt who are working for that first car lap down, which automatically, well, not automatically, but that puts Bobby Hamilton a lap down, basically.
So Bobby Hamilton, Casey Mears, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Scott Wimmer, Jeff Green, all one lap down. Tony Stewart in the class of the field so far as we approach lap 300.
Wow, that's not a good place to stop.
Hermie Sadler is sitting still on the front stretch.
And they put the caution right back out. That was really bizarre.
Does that mean Bobby Hamilton gets a lucky dog?
We'll have to wait and see.
I would think so.
They threw the green, didn't they?
Yeah. How lucky can you get?
So he does get the lucky dog. And meanwhile, the 66 just continues to sit there. So we'll take a break. Looks like Hermie Sadler needs a push. Under caution at Martinsville. We're going to try this again. Got Hermie Sadler pushed out of the way. Green flag out of Martinsville.
And Casey Mears, trying to open the door for Rusty Wallace. No, he's not really trying to do that. He's trying to get in front of Tony Stewart.
Or maintain his position if the yellow comes out so he can get his lap back. He's got Earnhardt Jr. not too far behind him. Right there behind Rusty's car. He's got a lot of beer in his mirror, doesn't he, Casey Mears? He does.
Tony Stewart will lead the most laps for the 11th time this season.
And most of that since June.
He's won 5 times when leading the most laps. He'll make it 6 today. And that strong run here in the spring, so the wheel literally came off.
Well, we've seen no sign of weakness by that pit crew today. And I'm told that the 43 car, we talked about the brakes getting hot. We showed you our Home Depot virtual garage, just how warm those rotors get. I was told that the 43 car, the right front tire, was caused by brakes. It melted the inside of the tire, the bead of the tire.
You see how patient Rusty Wallace is going to be with Casey Mears here, as Jimmy Johnson is coming in a hurry right behind him. Johnson in the 48.
Well, Mears gave the spot the last time, wasn't it, Mears? It was a similar situation where Rusty was stuck behind a car a lap down.
So they told Rusty, patience, log laps, log laps.
Earnhardt Jr. got slid up into the outside. Now he's starting to lose a lot of positions.
Junior runs 28th, a lap down. Gordon's in the 4th spot, then Jamie McMurray. McMurray in the 42.
Meanwhile, Jimmy Johnson, that 48 car right on the back bumper of Rusty Wallace.
Gives him the fake look, just to start worrying him.
And you know Rusty's looking in the mirror.
Oh, yeah.
And you know that Tony Stewart does not want to see that 48 car in the rearview mirror after all the things that were said and done yesterday. Here we go, Johnson looking. He didn't quite make it. Marty, what is saying in the 48 pit? Anything?
He's getting ready to pass Rusty Wallace is what they're saying. They progressively made this 48 car better throughout the day. Caution
on the racetrack, VP.
Elliott Sadler spun coming off turn 4, sitting in the middle of the racetrack. Looks like a one-car incident.
Elliott's not having a good day today.
Casey Mears gets the lucky dog.
Elliott's going to lose a lap here.
Now the car doesn't seem to want to start.
So his day gets worse.
Come give me a push.
Yeah, won't start.
His brother needed a push a few laps ago. Now Elliott needs a push. Comes off the turn.
Just loses control.
Yep.
Board with Jeff Burton.
Oh, he hit the curb. Yeah. Hit the curb, and he was on the gas at the same time, and definitely gets you sideways. Alan, what are they saying?
Hey, Wally, just so you know, on that, remember the earlier accident that Elliott was involved in, lap 238? His steering wheel was not centered properly, so he's been struggling with the alignment and trying to drive the car like that since then.
Yeah.
There was that bang up off turn 2 when he and Dale Jarrett, his teammate, got together.
And that's hard to do when your steering wheel's off, you know, because it's hard for me when it's on straight. For most people, if it's off just a little bit, it is difficult to know where you're at or know where your front wheels are at when you're turning the wheel. So, and you can take the wheel off, like on a pit stop. You know, you can pop that thing off and reset it, but it's hard to do. You know, when they're making a pit stop, everybody's in a hurry.
Because you're never really sure if the wheels are straight when you're doing it. Right. Pit road is open. The leaders stay out. We'll take a break. Tony Stewart leads Rusty Wallace, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, and Jamie McMurray. Next Saturday, horse racing returns to NBC for the Breeders' Cup World Thoroughbred Championships. Don't miss racing's richest day as the finest thoroughbreds in the world take to the track at historic Belmont Park for 8 championship stakes races. That's the Breeders' Cup next Saturday, 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on NBC. Field coming to get the green. Tony Stewart is the race leader. Matt Kenseth, Carl Edwards, Greg Biffle, among others. The back of the field, on and off of pit road.
Johnson's got something for Rusty.
And he does. Then does he have anything for Tony Stewart? We have seen some strength out of this 48 car the last run.
Rusty trying to clear Casey Kane.
Be careful not to pinch the guy down on the bottom too much.
Kane is 3 laps down.
This goes to show you how hard it is to pass here at the Martinsville Speedway, because we know the 2 is much faster than the 9, but on the outside, it's almost impossible to pass. Matt?
Rusty's not going to stand for that very long. Matt?
Rusty center to the caution. He was starting to get frustrated with the 41. Just give a little hello, how you doing to the 9 of Casey Kane. Doesn't want to let the 48 get too good of a run on him, and then also let the 20 of Stewart pull out. It seems like the only person that can really keep the 20 today, the legendary Chuck Mills, camera 1 up on the roof. Everybody else just battling for second.
Chuck's job is to keep up with the leader. He's doing a good job of it.
He's all over him. He's the only guy that's seen him all day. Marty?
Well, Bill, what we were talking about is they made the 48 car better throughout the day. They finally have hit on something on this run. The car has been very good. I think they are a little bit better than Rusty Wallace will try to get around him. You know, he won the race last week at Charlotte, and then he did the same thing last year. Won Charlotte, then won Martinsville, then won Atlanta. I think they could do the same thing this year, and they're just been on the backstretch.
Jeff Green. Second time for Jeff. A lot of guys bottled up behind him. Matt Kenseth has gone around. Ricky Rudd.
Ricky has had a lot of wrecks in his windshield today.
Hold on, I'm kind of busy.
Left front tire is flat. Left rear is sheet metal is gone.
21's got a lot of damage, but that's been a while ago.
Dave?
Part of the problem for Matt Kenseth in the chase for the NEXTEL Cup was where he restarted, back in the pack in 21st position. They pitted under that last caution. A car that wouldn't turn needed a spring rubber in the right rear and an air pressure adjustment, because Matt said, we just need to do something to it.
These guys are really boxed up back in the pack. Let's see what happens here. Looks like the 43 is going to get turned by the 42, Jamie McMurray. Look at all the smoke.
He nails that gas, and it is the... So those guys in the back, what chance do they have? They can't see anything.
There you see Matt.
Like Matt got ran into by Hamilton. The 09 car.
But Rudd avoiding another one.
That's just that accordion effect thing, you know, when everybody checks up, everybody's running like that.
Still have 39 cars out on the track. It's only a half-mile around. Not a lot of room out there. Plenty so far, though, for Tony Stewart. Green flag just coming out. Subway 500 restart, lap 327. Dale Earnhardt Jr. was the lucky dog, but under the caution, caught a left front and is just coming off of pit road now. Meanwhile, Tony Stewart leads Rusty Wallace and Jimmy Johnson trying to get around the lap car of Casey Kane.
Now, Jeff Gordon is the car that's trying to get around Mike Wallace and Casey Kane.
On the outside, trying to make the pass as well.
Seven cars scored on the lead lap. Only 4 cars out of the race. We're going to see exactly how good Tony Stewart is right now. And see what Rusty and Jimmy have for him.
It looks like the 48 is a little bit better than Rusty Wallace's car.
Matt Yoakum on Rusty.
Rusty Wallace will tell you, Bill, that he has 2 favorite racetracks. Bristol, the site of his first win, and Martinsville, the site of his last win. Trying to end his short track career in NEXTEL Cup with another victory, but he's had a lot of lap traffic, and this is part of the conversation between he and owner Roger Penske.
I just went down to the spotter there on the 9 and tell him, let's just play cool here. We don't need to knock each other off the racetrack, okay?
Yeah, he just needs to get in behind me instead of racing. There wasn't nobody behind us.
Exactly what I told him, so I'm just trying to tell everybody stay cool here.
And all these guys that are lapped down are just making it hell for everybody, you know, screwing everything up.
And now he's stuck on the outside of the 48 of Jimmy Johnson as Johnson takes over the second position. Rusty says the car still a little too tight, but he's scared with how well that car is handling to make a chassis adjustment.
Yeah, Matt, that's the one thing. It's good, but it's just not perfect, right?
Absolutely, Bill, and that's the one thing. Larry Carter says, look, on our next stop, let's think about making an adjustment. So if it doesn't work, we have time to back it up and put you back to where you are now. They're having a great run going. They don't want to hurt this run because with Stewart out front like this is going to be a big point stay for Stewart, and they can't let too many points go out the window.
Well, I don't know if that's from the spinner.
Brings out the caution.
Left front, it looks like.
Number 13.
That thing doesn't come apart running that hard.
He just ran up on the back of the 77. About that time, Jeff Green ran up on the back of him.
Scott Wimmer gets the lucky dog.
That was that accordion thing that Wally talked about just a moment ago.
He's trying to get that thing back to pit road without doing more damage than he already has.
The problem is they don't have enough air pressure in the left front tire, hardly to keep it on the wheel. So as soon as anything happens, the tire slams off the rim.
Ooh, that thing is, can't believe he didn't come in the pits that time.
158 to go. Pit road is open, and some of the leaders come in. Jeff Gordon does not.
Oh.
So Gordon stays out. Stewart, Johnson, Wallace, and others. Marty.
Jimmy Johnson running second does come to pit road. He said it turns better, launches out of the corner better, but a little bit too loose off of the corner. Round in the left rear, also an air pressure adjustment for the 48 team. Dave, Matt.
And Rusty Wallace peeling off into his pit box. Will try to stop short. they're going to make an air pressure adjustment in the fronts to try to free this race car up just a tick. Larry Carter says, make sure you pack it full of fuel. We are close, AB.
After initially telling Tony Stewart to stay out because they couldn't make it to the finish from here on this stop, they'd be about 25 laps short. Greg Zipadelli called Tony Stewart in 4 tires. He took on 4 fresh ones, and he'll win the race off pit road.
Man, if the 2 didn't get a piece of the 99 leaving his pits, it doesn't get any closer than that.
Take a look.
See, 48, he's trying to beat the 48 out. Now, the 99 is going to cross in front of him to get to his pits because he hasn't made a pit stop yet. Just touched him.
Wow. We can go on board with Rusty here, leaving his pit stall.
Outside, outside, outside. Watch your speed. 48 right outside, outside.
God, these pits are crazy, aren't they?
They are. They've got to limit the amount of cars on pit road at a place like this. Just, you know, we've now still got 27 cars on the lead lap. That's too many cars on pit road.
Jeff Gordon, Greg Biffle, Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth, Mark Martin among those that did not pit.
We got a spinner in 1 and 2.
Yep, half a lap. Ricky Rudd has just gotten turned between turns 1 and 2. They're Rudd 6. Caution comes back out.
And Earnhardt will be the dog. Lucky dog.
The top 6 cars did not pit under that caution. Jeff Gordon, Greg Biffle, Kurt Busch, Matt Kenseth, Mark Martin, and Travis Kvapil. Tony Stewart restarted 7th. Then it's Rusty, Jimmy Johnson, Jamie McMurray, Jeremy Mayfield, and Jeff Burton, Ryan Newman, Kyle Petty, and Denny Hamlin. Been a good day on the track for Tony Stewart and a good day on pit road. Here are the guys that are getting Tony in and off of pit road.
Hi, Greg Zipadelli, Berlin, Connecticut.
Tom Dean, Long Valley, New Jersey.
Ira Joe Hussey, Manchester, New Hampshire. Chuck White, China Grove, North Carolina. Jody Fortson, China Grove, North Carolina.
Todd Foster, Birmingham, Alabama.
Jeff Patterson, Escondido, California.
Brian Larson, Escanaba, Michigan.
Paul Aleppa, Vienna, Virginia.
And with crew chief Greg Zipadelli, here's Alan.
Who is sitting atop his pit. What's been a smooth day so far, Greg? Any concerns so far today at all?
No, I mean, the Home Depot Chevrolet's been great. All these guys are doing a great job. Our pit stops are good. We're just trying to get the freshest tires on it as we can every stop, and then, you know, we're probably going to have to ride a little longer than we have to come the end just to keep our track position. So we'll see. Everything's been going well. Hopefully we can get this car to victory lane.
All right, thanks, Greg. Marty. Ricky Rudd just came down pit road.
What was that all about?
And now is leaving pit road and didn't stop.
Yeah, the crew told him, go, go, go. So miscue there somewhere. As here comes the green.
Well, the 21 was also too fast on pit road. So we'll see what happens there. Anyway, Gordon leads on the restart. Biffle right behind him.
Casey Kane got a good bite there. Still underneath Gordon. Trying to get that lap back. Or one of his laps back.
Yeah,
Casey 2 down.
Yeah, that's right. He needs to get in front of Jeff Gordon just like he did. And here's Biffle on the inside of Gordon trying to get in front.
And this would be for 5 bonus points if Biffle can lead the lap.
He's got it. Elliott Sadler is about 5 laps down. He's underneath the 24, Jeff Gordon, right now.
Boy, don't you know Jeff Gordon could chew nails now? Oh, man, is he upset.
Kyle Busch down on, and this is for position. Kyle Busch in the 5 car trying to take second place away from Jeff Gordon.
Finally, Jeff gets back down to the inside of the racetrack.
The 43 is a lap down, chasing the 5, Dave.
And I was checking Kyle Busch's record today, and he's actually made a lot of adjustments on that car, but the one that counted the most was the one they reversed back on the lap 285 caution when Jeff Green had a tire that was cut down. That reverse limit adjustment, something that didn't work, brought this car to life.
Kyle is using the bumper right now on Jeff Gordon. Gave him a tap coming off of turn 2.
Looking for Tony Stewart, side by side with Travis Kvapil.
This is where these guys got to be real careful right now. Working their way up to the front.
And check this on the rear bumper of the 20 car, Jimmy Johnson.
Oh, Johnson's not in a good spot right there.
Trapped behind Mark.
Blocked in. He's going to lose some track position on Stewart.
He was able to get by Rusty Wallace. Rusty got hung up on behind the slower car, and Johnson passed him on the outside.
And Stewart gained about 10 car lengths on Jimmy Johnson on just that one move where Johnson got blocked behind Mark Martin and Travis Quapple.
And you got to give Tony credit. He really did a good job working in traffic when he was trapped between Mike Wallace and Travis Quapple. This is for the lead. Back up front, Biffle and Gordon. Gordon gets down to the inside, gets the position. It's first, second, and third. 200 cars with a Roush car in the middle.
Kyle Busch's car, the 5 car, looks pretty good. Looks like he can stay on the bottom better than these other cars in front of him right now.
Jeff Gordon won here in the spring. Has 6 wins on this half-mile track. Behind the 43, here comes Tony. We've run 358 laps. Tony's led 283 of them.
That's Jeff Green, 43 car. He's trying to get a lap back.
It's the first car, 1 lap down. Tony closes on this pack.
Now what Jeff Gordon, Greg Biffle, the 5 car, Kyle Busch, what they need is this thing to go about 50, 60, maybe 70 laps, green flag, caution flag come out. They've got the track position, dive in, get some tires, and be in the top 10 with just about 50 laps to go.
Gordon, Biffle, Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth, Travis Quapple did not stop under the last caution. Same with Mark Martin.
Michael Waltrip backs in the wall between 3 and 4.
It's the second time today.
Caution is out. This would be number 15.
Guess what? Casey Kane. Uh-oh. Do you run the inside wall as well? I think he's stuck on the curb. Well, he became unstuck. Casey King got a lap back, didn't he?
This route. No, it's perfect.
Michael gets turned by the 99, Carl Edwards. That's the second time today Michael's been helped into the wall.
Got a nudge earlier from Kurt Busch that got Kurt a 1-lap penalty. On board with Michael.
I would not want to be riding home with Michael tonight.
All righty. We just got spun around, guys.
Yeah, not been a good day for the Nappy Chevy.
Well, 15 cautions. The record for the most cautions here, 18, set back in October of 2000. Laps. So in this recap, you're going to see a lot of cautions, like Mike Wallace going around with a little help from Mark Martin. Tony Stewart missed it. Rusty Wallace trying to dodge some traffic. Casey Kane. Mike Wallace gets Michael Waltrip. Had a little help there. Brian Vickers just broke. A lot of traffic, lap 175. Watch Sterling Marlin and then Ricky Rudd. Crew chief Michael McSwain unhappy. Kurt Busch got a penalty for that. We go back to green.
Gordon, Casey Kane, and the difference is Casey Kane is now on the lead lap. Yeah, I'm sorry, he's 1 lap down, but will be eligible for the lucky dog.
Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch, Carl Edwards, Matt Kenseth. Among the cars that pitted under that caution. Gave up track position to come to pit road. Mike Wallace has gone to the garage.
And Tony Stewart looking on the inside of Biffle and
gives him a little tap.
Just a matter of time.
A little sideways.
20 cars been the class of the field. These two drivers in the chase for the championship. Biffle's never finished better than 17th here. Stewart a past winner at this track. Here he comes with Jimmy Johnson right behind him. And keep in mind, Johnson has not led a lap today. This pack back here has been fairly aggressive. Dave Blaney saying hello to Mark Martin.
And that's not a replay, is it?
Nope. That's a replay, but not the replay from the other replay.
Mark is just struggling right now, and these guys are behind him are getting through the corners better than Mark, and Mark can't get after the gas.
Dave?
And Dave Blaney's got a car that will go. Earlier today, he was running in the top 10, got in the wreck that bent the fuel fill on the back of the car, so they had trouble getting fuel in. That's where he lost all of his track position, been steadily working his way back up, so he feels like he can pass race cars. Marty?
Wally, you're exactly right. Mark Martin just cannot get back to the gas like you would like to. Too loose off the corners, and you may be able to hear it on the in car. Kind of says you have to kind of feather the throttle from the middle of the corner off.
2, 3, smoking on the bump.
There's Jeff Green. Headed for pit road. We stay under green. Jimmy Johnson looking at the outside of Tony Stewart.
Now he's just trying to get a line to get him some momentum off the corner to get on the inside of Tony Stewart. He has moved up, as Wally said, he's moved up the racetrack. He's running a different line. And here he goes. And the 19 car on pit road.
I think the 19's got a right front flat, looks like it.
One of the guys in the chase for the championship, Jeremy Mayfield, slowly toward his pit stall. Meanwhile, Johnson continues to eye Stewart.
Tony Stewart is not wanting to see this. Remember, he talked about at the very top of the show today that Chad Canals, the crew chief for Jimmy Johnson, played some head games with him.
It was yesterday during the practice. Chad got on the team radio. There's Chad Canals watching from on top of the pit box. Made some references that maybe Tony's car wasn't as strong as theirs.
And right now, it doesn't look like it is.
Well, Johnson's got to figure out a way around because Stewart's car is so good right now. He's just looking for a spot to hopefully that Tony will slip up or he can get a little bit better bite off the corner. Marty?
And Wally, you see Jimmy has done one thing that he did earlier in the race. He's moved up half a lane. Earlier he'd been running on the bottom, and Chad came on the radio and said, why don't you try running the middle groove, if you will. And Jimmy's doing that now. See if maybe that'll help him get around the 20 car. Alan?
Tony Stewart has said nothing on his radio in this stretch of race, just concentrating on the driving ahead. He's not called in, offered any advice on an adjustment on the next pit stop. He's just trying to get it done behind the wheel.
This is the battle for second. Jeff Gordon leads by just over 3 seconds. These two drivers came into today's race tied on top of the championship standings.
Now they're going to be getting into some pretty heavy traffic here in about another 5 or 6 laps. That could make the difference on a pass, and that's what Gordon just have to deal with.
Carl Edwards, another chaser, falls off the lead lap. Allen on Edwards.
Hey, this has just been a day-long struggle with the handling of this car, Bill. And one other note on Carl. After the incident with Michael Waltrip a little while ago, he called in and said, I tried to run in a little harder to make a pass. My brake pedal went right to the floor. Apologized to Michael for me.
Johnson is second.
Well, there's something we haven't seen all day. Somebody passed a 20 car.
Tony Stewart has been passed.
This is the longest green flag run of the day. 46th
green flag run. That's what Jeff Gordon really needed. When the last caution came out after about 11 laps, he said, every time we get going. Now that they've gotten going, they can hold that lead. But they do have to pit one more time. They'll have to pit on or around lap 453. Perhaps that last run could be just as long for Jeff.
The pace.
Yeah, it looks like...
tires and gas, pull the fenders up.
Oh, easy. Yeah, you're right, BP. It doesn't look like he can slow the car down.
Caution is out for debris.
Yellow's out, yellow's out, yellow's out.
It might be his rotor.
This will be our 16th caution of the race.
I saw him go through 3 and 4 very, very high, and he looked like he might have made some contact.
I think the right side's hurt much.
With the ball coming off the corner.
Kyle Petty gets the lucky dog. There you see the record we talked about. Well, this has not been a good weekend for Mark at Martinsville. They will clean the track under this caution. 64 laps to go. Jeff Gordon loses a 5-second lead to his teammate Jimmy Johnson, who will pull up on his bumper. Stewart, Rusty Wallace, Jeff Burton, the top 5.
And with those used tires, Jeff Gordon was pulling away from Jimmy Johnson. He was showing exceptional strength in that 24 car.
And now, what are you going to do on pit road?
It's got fire inside there.
Yeah, I thought there was a fire in the right front on that 6 car.
Wheels full of fire right now.
Pit road is still closed.
So Todd Ziegler, front tire change on the 6. Be careful.
Yeah, it's going to be hot. Hotter. He can't stop.
Can't stop.
Right, go down the pit road. Go behind the garage. Go to the garage. Go to the garage.
He's going to try and back up.
I think he's going to the garage.
That's what they told him to do. Looks like that isn't what he wanted to do. Here he comes down pit road into his pit stall.
Yeah, but he just can't stop the car.
There you see the fire, BP.
Well, that looks like per hour crawling. All right, Marty, here comes Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, Wally, Jimmy said the only thing you really could think to change on the car is maybe a little more forward bite. So Chad Canals puts half a pound in both right side tires. Also a wedge adjustment, trying to get him a little more bite up the corners. Dave?
How much do you mess with a good thing? Just a little. Jeff wants a little chassis adjustment, little air pressure adjustment on the right side. Matt.
And the experiment, as Rusty Wallace comes to a stop with the air pressure, did not work. They're going to back up the air pressure adjustments made on the previous stop and make a chassis adjustment as the right sides are on. Going over to the left side, Roger Penske and Rusty talk a lot about it. They think maybe this may be what they need. Maybe.
Well, Tony Stewart wants help with that forward bite, that grip, leaving the corners up onto the straightaways of this racetrack. Pardon me for flinching. I just got a mouthful of jet dryer dust off the racetrack as he came by Stewart's pit. 4-tire change. Howdy Macon coming off pit road.
Man, there's a great battle for second spot off of pit road. Jimmy Johnson is coming off pit road. Tony Stewart's leaving, and it's Johnson beating by a car length.
Under caution here at Martinsville. Jeff Gordon wins the race off of pit road. To NASCAR President Mike Helton about that yesterday morning in the garage here at Martinsville.
Everybody tried to do the right thing. It just didn't work out right, and so we analyzed what went wrong, and we tried to be sure that if a unique set of circumstances like that comes to us in the future, that we do a better job of being ready for it. So a lot of it's engineering and building tires. A lot of it's in the competition level in the garage area where the guys are doing so much with the geometry of the suspensions and everything. But that's our job. That's our job. It's the racetrack's job. It's the suppliers like Goodyear and Sunoco. That's our job to stay on top of those things and try to get it right. Humpy's already committed to resurfacing the track. The engineering of it as to the possibility of the compound banking are the things that he's working through right now. So there will be a new surface here.
And the Busch Johnson and Tony Stewart.
Whitman 16 is a lap down.
Not anymore.
He gets by Jeff Gordon. And now Jimmy Johnson has a lap car between himself and Tony Stewart. Maybe not for long.
Stewart inside of Casey Mears. Stewart has been the class of the field throughout the day. He's got 283 laps, the 449. He's tried to work his way back through traffic. Jeff Gordon stayed out when most of the leaders pitted. That helped him get to the front. He's got a good pit stop from his team and held on to the lead. Inside of 50.
whatever you saved up to this point, you better be using. Brakes, tires, you name it.
Last lap, Jeff Gordon ran pretty near his fastest lap of the day. Looks like the 48 car has put in some distance on the 20. It's not much, but at least that 20 car is not beating on his back bumper.
Johnson 5 points behind Tony. Again, Tony got 5 bonus points for leading a lap and 5 more for locking up the bonus for leading the most laps today.
Gordon starts to pick up. And Gordon's car, like I said earlier in the race, looks like takes about 10 laps before his tires get to where they need to be, cleaned off, more heat in them. Now he's back on the bumper of Biffle, but he can't stay behind Biffle long. If he's faster, he needs to go.
The car is running first and second, and Tony drives for Joe Gibbs.
I guarantee you, if the 24 is screaming on the radio, get the 16 out of the way. Spotters. And Biffle's just trying to stay on the lead lap.
Now Gordon to the inside. Drag race down the backstretch toward turn 3. Now Jimmy Johnson is going to want past Biffle, Marty.
Absolutely, and to Wally's point, he said it takes a while for Jeff Gordon's car to come in. Same is the case for Jimmy Johnson. About 20 laps for his car to really come in, but on those old tires, the 48 very, very fast. Dave?
And Wally, the 24 of Jeff Gordon, he wasn't actually screaming on his radio to get the 16 out of the way, but do you think inside he was screaming?
Yes.
Talked to Chad Knaus this morning in the garage, crew chief for Jimmy Johnson. They came here and tested with that car. 48 machine did not go very well. Took it back to Hendrick Motorsports, cut it apart, put some new pieces on it, brought it back. Now Johnson trying to defend his win from 1 year ago here at Martinsville.
Okay, now Johnson is on the inside of Biffle. Well, he was. I think he's going to go ahead and make this pass, because Tony Stewart had closed up on the back bumper of the 48, and he had about a 10-car length advantage.
Biffle, the first car, a lap down. Johnson runs second, Stewart in third. Jimmy trying to get underneath the 16.
In the meantime, these guys racing like this. Gordon's being able to pull away because he's using all the racetrack, and Jimmy Johnson only used half of it because Biffle's using the other half.
And on the
Stewart, these guys, you remember the frustration part? Okay, well, we're there with these two guys. Stewart squeezed Biffle up out of the groove, and Biffle's got left front rubbing there a lap ago. Stewart will run him up the track a little bit here.
Stewart is third, Biffle is 20th.
He took a shot at him but missed. Biffle wants to the back of that bumper.
This is a battle for the first car. One lap is Casey Kane, the lap down. He and Biffle battling for position.
Biffle a contender in the chase for the NEXTEL Cup championship.
Oh, man. Biffle shuts the door on Casey Kane. Casey Kane almost wrecks himself.
Meanwhile, Bobby Labonte runs in the 4th spot. Run for Bobby.
And Rusty Wallace, the 5th place car, has a 19 car lap down between the two.
Allen?
Hey, Bill, just a thought on that Bobby Labonte run. He had not one, but 2 pit road speeding penalties today. He's gone to the back of the pack twice and come back into the top 5. Matt?
Rusty Wallace runs in 5th. Now he thinks they've improved that race car. He's just trying to have Barb and his spotter work with the lap cars in front of him so he can try to get that blue deuce up there in that fight.
Rusty comes off the 24th place finish last week at Charlotte. Put a lot of blame on himself for that late race spin.
6 is coming back onto the track.
Mark Martin is 31 laps down.
34th position. I don't know that he can survive the bad finish at Talladega and the bad finish here and still be the NASCAR NEXTEL Cup champion.
Right now 165 points behind leader Tony Stewart as they run. Up front, Jeff Gordon continues to lead. Marty?
Well, guys, you asked Wally earlier about teammates helping teammates. Well, the request has been filed with Jeff Gordon's team. Jimmy Johnson came on the radio, said, if I get close enough, ask him if he'll let me lead a lap. Needs those 5 points.
Well, right now he could, because they got a pretty good gap on the 20 car, Marty. So if they wanted to do it, they could do it without losing a lot. But if the 20 starts making ground, you can't do it.
Dave?
And I'm monitoring the 24 radio for that response. There has not been any word to Jeff yet about that. We'll stay tuned.
Well, I think he's going to wait till the 48 gets in his mirror before he makes any kind of response. He's got to catch him first.
Yeah, I don't think Jeff Gordon's going to back off and let Jimmy Johnson catch him to give him 5 bonus points, because that's just something that you don't do in this business. Back off and give somebody something. Now, if he can catch him, he might let him have those 5 points. You reckon Jimmy would let him back by?
With what, maybe 10 to go?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Go ahead, Jeff.
He's catching him. Gordon catching lap traffic.
Just not a lot of time. Get 27 laps.
But Jeff's going to get bottled up here behind Mark Martin and then Mike Wallace.
I don't think he is, Bill, because the one thing the leader has going for himself is people know the leader's coming and they get out of the way.
You're right. Wallace goes high, Gordon goes underneath.
Especially with 25 laps to go. Now, if this was 25 laps into the race, they would certainly race him a lot different.
We saw that, didn't we?
Yeah. Yeah, we've seen that all day.
Johnson won here 1 year ago. Gordon won here in the spring. Caution has come out. Matt Kenseth bringing out the caution.
Now, this is not what Gordon wanted to see. Looks like Matt may be angry at somebody.
Matt Kenseth.
Looks like 5-car Kyle Busch.
And it looks like that's who Matt was chasing.
But
and then stopped.
Sanity prevailed before he got there, so.
Either that or somebody on the radio.
Yeah.
Greg Biffle, the lucky dog. We'll put 20 cars on the lead lap.
Well, we don't know about the leaders pitting, but we know that Biffle will pit because he will be the last car on the lead lap. But will the 24th pit road was open? They chose not to come down pit road.
You can't. With 24 laps ago? No way. Dave?
And in one ear, I'm listening to Jeff Gordon talk with his crew chief, Steve Letarte. Steve has told his driver, well, obviously presented the situation to him, the 48 behind you needs to lead a lap. I'll leave it up to you, driver. Jeff said, you know what? I'm not going to give up the win. And Steve said he understands that. But like you guys were talking, if they get far enough ahead of the 20, that might be the opportunity. They might do it.
Well, the opportunity was, well, yeah, I mean, they...
On the next green flag run.
Right. The opportunity they kind of had. But Jimmy Johnson wasn't close on 24 because they had about 4 seconds over the 20 car. But now that's going to be a lot tougher because this pack is going to be tight from here on, you know, until the finish of the race.
Marty, Elliott Sadler in that inside lane is 3 laps down. Green flag.
And Gordon gets a great restart, and so does Jimmy Johnson. So both those guys will clear. Sadler, Stewart's going to clear him too. Got a 3-car race up front. Oh, and what? Rusty gets
around into the wall.
Off of turn 2, looked like Jeff Burton got in the back of him.
Second week in a row, a late race crash for Rusty Wallace. Marty?
And immediately Jeff Burton came on the radio and said, hey, you tell Rusty I'm sorry, but he just came to a stop off of turn 2. I did not mean to hit him, but I'm the one who spun him.
Get it hard, are you okay?
I don't know. It knocked it to a little bit.
Take a look. 31 car up high, and just got in the back of Rusty and turned him around.
That's pretty good contact, too.
7-time winner here at Martinsville. Last call for Rusty.
Clear, clear. Outside.
Now on board with Jeff Burton.
Hard to tell on them restarts like that. Everybody's bottled up. If a guy gets a little bit loose, or I mean, it's just everybody is so tight on the restarts.
18th caution flag. Ties the record for most cautions in a race.
Really?
Yep. At Martinsville.
Brooks.
Gordon, Johnson, Stewart, Bobby Labonte, and now Jeff Burton in 5th. 15 to go.
All right, this time Stewart. Yeah, it looks like Stewart's going to get on the about just like last time. So all those 3 guys will clear. Elliott Sadler.
Stewart right on the bumper of Johnson.
And he's driving on the inside. There's enough room. Oh, boy. And this is first. These guys entered this race, the 48 and 20 tie for the chase for the NASCAR NEXTEL Cup.
Right now, Stewart leads Johnson by 5 points.
Meanwhile, Jeff Gordon's pulling away. And to Jeff's advantage, he's got a clean racetrack with the exception of Mike Wallace in front of him, but Mike will get out of the way, I'm sure, when Jeff gets there, so he's got that clean racetrack.
12 laps to go. Gordon, a 6-time winner at this track.
Stewart dives in. He's driving the car in a little bit deeper than the 48 right now.
Tony looking to the inside.
Oh, and he gets to the back of the 48. Slides him up the racetrack. Gets the spot.
Stewart to 2nd and now sets out after Gordon.
See if 48 gets to the back of that 20 cars bumper before this thing's over. I'm sure you'll see the exact same move.
Maybe Tony remembered what he heard on the radio yesterday during practice. Chad Knaus, the crew chief for Jimmy Johnson, talking about how strong the 48 car was and that maybe the 20 wasn't the car to beat here at Martinsville. Trying to get into Stewart's head.
It may have worked against him.
Yeah.
The 48 team, Chad Knaus, talking to his driver, Jimmy Johnson. Mike Wallace lets Gordon go by. Wallace 53 laps down.
Hey, what, with 8 laps to go, I'm not too sure that Tony Stewart can catch Jeff Gordon.
I don't think so, BP. I think Gordon's got the car to beat right now.
Johnson to the back bumper of Tony. Couldn't quite get there.
Flag. Oh, Jeff Gordon said, oh, no, 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 please don't do this to me.
Travis Quapple, 19th caution.
Road. Can't spin the tires on the restart.
Be 3 laps to go when they get the green.
Johnson takes a look.
Stewart on the back bumper of Gordon, then Johnson. Two to go. going for the Martinsville sweep, one here in the spring.
Gordon got through two really good that lap.
Tony Stewart is driving that 20 car in a little bit deeper than 24, but 24 comes off the corner a little bit better.
Last lap, half a mile to go. Tony Stewart has led the most laps. Jeff Gordon trying to lead the last one. One more shot in 3 and 4 for Stewart.
Can't get there.
Jeff Gordon brings Hendrick Motorsports back to victory lane at Martinsville.
Steve Letarte's first victory as a crew chief. Good going, Steve.
73rd career win for Jeff Gordon. His 7th here at Martinsville.
Awesome. What an awesome job you guys did today. I'm so proud of you. Woohoo!
The second time he swept.
It feels good to be back in victory lane.
Second time he swept both races here at Martinsville. Today Burns.
With Steve Letarte now, the new crew chief for Jeff Gordon, your 6th race, man. Congratulations on the win.
Well, thank you. I mean, the guys in the DuPont shop, they've just never given up all year. Jeff came here and he drove an absolutely perfect race. I can't thank Mr. Hendrick enough for the opportunity.
You used to be one of those guys in the shop, so how does it feel to actually be the crew chief who engineered this thing?
Oh, it feels great. I mean, the team we have is so strong, I just can't wait for next year.
Okay, go celebrate with you guys. Steve Letarte, the winning crew chief today, Bill.
4th win of 2005 for Jeff Gordon. Both Martinsville, Talladega, and the Daytona 500. Chevy congratulates Jeff Gordon in the 24 Monte Carlo on today's win. The defending manufacturer's champion takes win number 572 overall. Chevy, the revolution races on.
Takes quite a while to get all that safety stuff off these drivers anymore, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that's a good thing, though. We got time.
Stopped right at the start-finish line.
See all the crew have their hats on backwards. That was the way Ricky Hendrick went around.
Ricky, son of Rick Hendrick, was on the plane that went down a year ago tomorrow.
There we go.
Allen.
All right, Jeff taking off the steering wheel and getting ready to pop the belts and come on out of the car, and I think there'll be a pretty loud cheer. Trying to get his Hans safety device off. Here he comes. Congratulations from the team members all around. And you got to have the victory kiss, too. He's getting them all taken care of. Not looking for the crew chief. Oop. Tripping over the luggage here that's been dropped around Jeff Gordon's car. Jeff? Congratulations. Obviously, you're enjoying this quite a bit.
Yes, I am. It's been a while, you know. I don't know if Talladega or this race was the last one, but what a great feeling. You know, I'm just so proud of this guy right here, Steve Letarte, all the guys that have been supporting him, backing him up, and you know, he made the call that won this race today, and you know, I've been telling people how talented he is. I think today, you know, definitely showed that. What a great race car with the DuPont Chevrolet. I got my hat on backwards to show my sponsor DuPont, doing Michael Waltrip, but you know, this one here is for all those, you know, who were lost a year ago. I mean, still a major part of our thoughts and